Howdy, folks. I am Al for today's news. I will be reading, speaking about world news, interesting news to keep you entertained, and news to keep you informed. I wasn't going to have no news this morning, but I just, because I didn't have very many views yesterday, but I was looking for news all day and apparently came up with a few things. Anyway, I wasn't going to do no Fox News, but this one here I had to do. It says here, Biden hit by fact checker for repeatedly touting highly misleading deficit claim. Bottomless Pinocchio.
The Washington Post's chief fact-checker Glenn Kessler awarded President Biden with a bottomless Pinocchio rating for repeatedly touting what the reporter described as a highly misleading claim about reducing the deficit. Earlier this week, Biden told a group union workers that in his first 2 years in office, he lowered the deficit by a record $1.7 trillion, a claim Kessler gave 3 Pinocchios in September. Yet he keeps saying it over and over, Kessler wrote Friday. By our count, at least 30 times since June he's taken credit for reducing the budget deficit by $1.7 trillion. He continued, why is this significant? Readers may recall that during Donald Trump's presidency, we established a new category, the bottomless Pinocchio, to account for false or misleading statements repeated so often that they became a form of propaganda. A statement would get added to the list if it had earned a 3 or 4 Pinocchios rating and been repeated at least 20 times. By the end of the Trump presidency, 56 claims made by Trump had qualified. Continue reading. Kessler, who previously gave Biden his first bottomless Pinocchio rating in November for claiming many times without evidence that he had traveled 17,000 miles with Chinese President Xi Jinping, explained the $1.7 trillion figure came from comparing fiscal year 2022's $1.375 trillion deficit to fiscal year 2020's $3.132 trillion deficit. Kessler explained, the best way to determine a president's impact on budget deficits is to look at what was predicted before he arrived, and then what happened after his policies were enacted. The Congressional Budget Office, CBO, previously projected in February 2021 that combined budget deficits in 2021 and 2022 would be $3.31 trillion, but they ended up being $4.15 trillion. What happened? Biden enacted additional pandemic relief funds and other new policies, resulting in a more modest decline in the deficit, Kessler told readers. For instance, the deficit was projected to be about $1 trillion in 2022, and it turned out to be about $1.375 trillion. It was supposed to decline $875 billion in 2021, and it was actually $360 billion under Biden. All told, in those 2 years Biden increased the national debt about $850 billion more than originally projected, he added. The fact-checker went on to cite Mark Goldwine of the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, who pointed out that inflation negatively impacted projected GDP and that when the 2022 fiscal year ended in September, the deficit turned out to be 5.5% of GDP in 2022, even higher than the CBO projection at the start of 2021. In other words, again the data shows the deficit picture has worsened under Biden, Kessler stressed. Kessler concluded, in his battle with congressional Republicans, who claim they are concerned about rising deficits, through sleight of hand, the president repeatedly has claimed he achieved historic deficit reduction because of his policies. Budget numbers often make people's eyes glaze over, and so, from a communications perspective, it's easy to manipulate the math. But the numbers don't lie. The president earns his second bottomless Pinocchio.
And that's all I got on that one there. I'll have a link to everything in my description box if you like. And let's go to the next one here. This is from USA Today. Arizona lawmaker caught on video hiding Bibles at state capitol building issues apology.
Phoenix, an Arizona Arizona House Democrat and ordained minister recorded on video hiding Bibles at a lounge at the state capitol apologized to her peers for her actions. "I hold Scripture very dear to my heart," State Representative Stephanie Stahl Hamilton, D. Tucson, said Wednesday, following the moment of prayer that begins every House floor session. "I recognize my actions could have been seen something as less than playful and offensive." Stahl Hamilton described her actions as a type of protest regarding the separation of church and state. "The intent was never to be destructive, to never desecrate or to offend," she said. Missing Bibles were a mystery. The missing Bibles were a mystery that went on for weeks until House Speaker Ben Toma, R. Glendale, took the advice of Capitol security personnel and ordered a camera placed in the House members' lounge, said Speaker pro tempore Travis Grantham, R. Gilbert. Some of the Bibles were discovered under seat cushions in the lawmaker's lounge, and one was found in the refrigerator, he said. The lounge is a private area for House members off the main floor. "It makes me a little uncomfortable, and I think it's kind of offensive to people who believe in and cherish the Bible," Grantham said. "I feel like a disappointed dad." Several House members stood next to Representative Lupe Diaz, R. Benson, a pastor, as he delivered the morning prayer and talked about how tyrants have tried to burn, bury, or hide the Bible from people. Stahl Hamilton's official legislative member bio states that she graduated with a degree in Christian education from Eastern Nazarene College in Quincy, Massachusetts, and later earned a Master of Divinity at Princeton Theological Seminary. She also has served at a Presbyterian church as Director of Christian Education and Youth Ministry. Will Stahl Hamilton face punishment? It wasn't clear Wednesday whether Stahl Hamilton would face any disciplinary action. Toma declined to comment. The House recently expelled one of its members for disorderly conduct following an ethics investigation sparked by a complaint filed by Stahl Hamilton. But House Democratic leader Representative Andres Cano, D. Tucson, said some members were concerned about the camera placed in the lounge. "We have members wondering what is public record and what is not," Cano said. He added that he wasn't as concerned about how Stahl Hamilton got caught as the fact that Democrats were left out of the loop. He added that he learned about her actions 24 hours ago on Twitter. Grantham said the camera, which had also drawn complaints from a few Republican House members, was removed immediately after Stahl Hamilton was caught. Stahl Hamilton, "It just felt like it's a game."
Okay, there's more to read on that if you want to read the rest of it. Not a whole lot more. She should have known better, you know. Bible don't have no place, there. She's a Democrat anyway. Anyway, let me go on next one. There's one here from 1945. Hunter Biden is going to get Joe Biden impeached.
Hunter Biden is a problem for Joe. There can be little doubt that President Joe Biden is the most imperfect president this country has elected in decades. Many on the right believe he is as bad, if not worse, than Jimmy Carter. At least with Carter he was a devoutly Christian man who tried to do the right thing, though he rarely managed it. Biden, on the other hand, is devious to the point that it strains credulity how he's made it this far in national politics and gone as far as he has. Despite claims of Biden's stupidity and/or senility, the 46th president has managed to weather years' worth of what many feel should be corruption charges. Although his years of obfuscating and deflecting the public attention away from his alleged wrongdoing may be coming to an end as his terribly flawed son, Hunter, has left a trail of incriminating evidence from here to Beijing and back. It is Hunter Biden who is the weakest link in the chain that links Hunter's alleged widespread, global influence operations to trade on his father's various political positions over the years in exchange for a ton of money. Hunter Biden, mastermind or master clown? The best-laid criminal enterprises, however, require discipline and attention to detail that the drug addict and prostitute using Hunter Biden is incapable of. After years of avoiding the Pied Piper, the Republicans are finally going after the Biden syndicate, using Hunter as their entry point into that dark, familial web of global corruption. Thanks to Hunter Biden's profound lack of discipline, the Biden family's prospects of avoiding criminal charges are decreasing by the week. And the closer the world moves toward what will undoubtedly be a contentious presidential election in 2024, the harder the House Republicans will pursue Hunter to try to prove that it was Hunter's father, the 46th president, who was the real brains behind this operation. Wouldn't that be crazy? A senile octogenarian sitting at the head of a vast possible criminal conspiracy with his cocaine-addled, manic, selfie-taking son as the frontman for the operation? The unbelievable chutzpah of the all-edged Biden syndicate in thinking that they could keep that under wraps should be enough to make everyone want to see such sloppy corruption removed from power. From a criminal law standpoint, using Hunter Biden as a go-between Joe Biden and the various foreign governments and companies that the Biden syndicate did business with over the years is a smart move. It places a degree of separation between Joe Biden, the wrinkled goose that lays the misshapen eggs of corruption for the Biden family, and his corrupt dealings by pinning it all on his son. And Hunter's past troubles with the law and addiction mean that, unlike his now-deceased brother, Beau, Hunter is useless to Joe Biden as a potential heir to the family's political fortunes. His place is as the family's glorified bagman. This is precisely what Hunter Biden complained about to his daughter, Naomi, in a series of text messages in 2019 that have since been leaked to the press. In these painful texts to his daughter, Hunter laments the fact that his father has placed the entire family's financial well-being on his clearly weak shoulders. Why is CIA covering for Hunter Biden? Of course, the Democrats, and more shamelessly, the mainstream media, want you to ignore this story of over-the-top corruption. They want you to ignore it so badly that they colluded with about 50 former intelligence operatives in crafting a cockamamie letter during the 2020 presidential election saying that the entirety of the Hunter Biden story was right-wing bunkum. It has since been proven that the letter of former intelligence professionals was not an organic movement of impartial experts worried about the infusion of Russian disinformation into the critical U.S. election of 2020. Instead, the letter was cooked up by the Biden campaign and disseminated to the network of former intelligence officials by none other than former CIA Director Mike Morell, who previously served as President George W. Bush's CIA briefer and, later, as the acting director of CIA under President Barack Obama.
Okay, just more to read if you want to read it. I just skip a few paragraphs there because I want to go to that why is CIA covering up for Hunter Biden. We're going to go to the next one now. This one's from Distractify. Walmart employees exposes clever way they know when someone is stealing a self-checkout.
We've become so accustomed to self-checkout lanes in grocery stores that it's a bit aggravating whenever you got into one and see that the option isn't available. This is especially true of Walmart, one of America's largest brick-and-mortar retailers that are known for its low prices, the subject one of the internet's earliest hilarious, if not a bit mean, viral meme websites, and for having a gajillion cash register lanes, with only 2 open to process transactions at the same time. Personally, I've returned my items so many times due to long lines that I entirely stopped shopping at Walmart for years, until I heard my local one implemented a self-checkout lane. It's understandable why some stores would be wary of installing these in a location, however. It definitely seems like a shoplifter's dream come true. Faking out the wait system shouldn't be too difficult, especially if one knows how heavy the items they plan on buying beforehand are. All you'd have to do is get the appropriate poundage down and you'd be able to scan lower-cost items to score a couple of free goodies on your own without arousing suspicion. But one Walmart employee revealed how the store goes about stopping would-be thieves. At Thulmargy69, Nice, posted a clip to TikTok that's making the rounds on the popular social media platform with a text overlay that reads, POV, we know when you're stealing. In the clip, the employee shows a nifty little gizmo developed by Zebra Technologies that's designed specifically for retailers to spy on customers and survey the items they're bringing to self-checkout. In the clip, the device can be seen monitoring the items customers scan, and if there's anything amiss, it will register alerts. The scanner is supposed to ascertain whether or not there's any tomfoolery going on and if customers are actually scanning everything they put into their bags at self-checkout. You check out, the post below. While there were some people who were impressed and or a bit scared of trying to sneak that extra pack of string cheese into their bag during their next Walmart visit, others plainly stated that they didn't put much faith in the gadget developed by Zebra Technologies. I walked out of Walmart with one of those big bags of dog food because I forgot to pay for it. It was under the cart, I didn't see it, one user said. Others talked about either forgetting items in their cart or simply forgetting to swipe while at the self-checkout aisle and walking directly out of the store. I literally walked out with $50 plus worth of items on accident because I forgot to swipe my card. Others were a bit more blatant with the way they shop at Walmart. I always take one small item as payment for being my own cashier. I don't work for free. Then there were users who expressed their befuddlement with the tech. If y'all know when we're stealing, why do you guys stare at us like we're up to something when we're not? Even other Walmart employees chimed in stating that they were not paid enough to care and that they would simply look the other way if they learned a customer was stealing from the business. According to research and analytics, it's in Walmart's best interest to equip its stores with all of the devices that it can to help curb theft from its stores given the huge losses they reportedly incur as a result.
And there's a bunch of remarks here from TikTok. And there's more to read if you want to read more of it. I'm going to go to the next one here now. This one here from the Times of Israel. U.S. sends warplanes with bunker-busting bombs to Mideast and message to Iran. From a report.
According to the report, around a dozen A-10 Warthogs were refitted to allow the attack. In a show of force to Iran, the United States military has equipped aircraft sent to the Middle East with advanced bunker-busting bombs, American officials told the Wall Street Journal on Friday. According to the report, around a dozen A-10 Warthogs were refitted to allow the attack aircraft to carry up to 16 of the precision-guided GBU-39/B bombs. The paper said it was the first time the aging A-10 planes were equipped with the 113-kilogram, 250-pound, bunker-busting munitions. The officials told the Journal that the upgrade was aimed at enabling pilots a greater chance of success in destroying ammunition bunkers and other entrenched targets in Iraq and Syria, where U.S. forces have repeatedly come under attack by Iran-backed militias. The relatively slow-flying plane, introduced in the 1970s, is generally used to provide close air support for U.S. forces in areas like Syria, where enemy forces do not have planes of their own to challenge the American pilots. Lieutenant General Alexis Grinkwich, who oversees U.S. Air Force operations across the Middle East and Southeast Asia as head of the U.S. Air Force's Central Command, told the Wall Street Journal, "The A-10s are highly effective at some of the things we need to do." The Warthog Squadron, around 12 aircraft, was arriving in the Middle East during heightened tensions with Iran and following a series of attacks against U.S. bases in Syria.
And there's more to read on that if you want to read about it. Not a whole lot more, a little bit. I'm going to the next one here now. This one here from KTI TV St. Louis. That's a Fox News station. Oh well, I slipped again. Anyway, what's the cheapest day of the week to buy gas? Here's when to fill up.
Next are, as temperatures heat up, so do gas prices, unfortunately. Prices at the pump, already averaging around $3.60 nationwide, are expected to rise over the next few months as we head into the peak summer travel season. Not every station in your town will have the same prices, of course. But saving money at the pump doesn't just mean knowing where to fill up, it also helps to know when to fill up. In general, gas prices tend to be lowest at the beginning of the week, on Monday and Tuesday, GasBuddy's lead petroleum analyst Patrick DeHaan told Nexstar. As the week goes on, gas prices tend to rise until they reach their most expensive point on the weekend, especially on Friday and Saturday. What drives this trend? Judge tentatively okays $725 million Facebook settlement, how to apply for a payout. If I had to venture a guess, energy markets are closed over the weekend, but they're open Monday through Friday, DeHaan said. By the time the weekend rolls around, gas stations may be passing around any increases that happened earlier in the week. There's also a key government report that comes out every Wednesday, DeHaan said, which can influence the wholesale price of oil. Basically, if gas stations see the price of oil rising as the week goes on, they pass on that cost to customers so they don't lose money. They're also less likely to lower prices at the onset of the weekend because a lot of people fill up on the weekend, so there's less of an incentive, DeHaan said. These cities saw home prices triple. Gas isn't always cheapest on Monday, DeHaan emphasized. There are variations from place to place, and it depends on what's going on in the oil markets at any given time. The broad trend was identified in a GasBuddy study last year. The average gas station will change prices a few times a week, DeHaan said, but there are volatile times when a station might change prices several times a day. If they see their competition's prices rising, gas stations are more likely to do the same. One tip is to always shop around. Prices can vary significantly from block to block, DeHaan said. You can save $100 or even $200 to $300 over the course of the year if you're paying attention. While gas prices are expected to rise, things are looking better than they were at this time last year. Gas was, on average, about 50 cents more per gallon, according to AAA data. The highest ever average price was recorded in June 2022, when the national average peaked at $5.02 for regular unleaded gas. In California, home to the country's highest gas prices, they topped out at $6.44 last year.
Yeah, this is my spreadsheet for this one gas station. I keep eye on the gas prices, and as you can see, it's not true. Saturday, Sunday is $3.29, Monday $3.29, Tuesday $3.24, and it keeps going down all the way to the weekend. It's $3.19. So that article is not true. Okay, that's all I got on that one there. Let me go to my last one here. Try and make this newscast a little short. This is from 1945. Supercavitating torpedoes. Russia and Iran have them. The U.S. doesn't. The U.S. Navy doesn't.
Two of America's primary foes, Russia and Iran, possess a supercavitating torpedo. Germany and the U.S. round out the list as the only other countries known to operate these novel weapons. As the name suggests, a supercavitating torpedo uses supercavitation to move through the water at higher velocities than conventional torpedoes. Supercavitation is the use of a cavitation bubble to reduce drag. Living in a bubble. The bubble forms at the nose of the object, in this case, a torpedo, and extends past the aft end of the object. It prevents contact between the sides of the object and the liquid medium through which it passes. The separation that the bubble creates between the object, torpedo, and the liquid ocean water significantly reduces skin friction drag, allowing the object to achieve higher speeds. Supercavitating objects typically feature a distinctive nose, with a sharp-edged perimeter designed to produce the bubble. The nose is often articulated and shaped like a flat disc or cone. The body of the supercavitating object is typically slender, all the better to be enveloped in a cavitation bubble. If the bubble created is not long enough to encompass the entire object, high-pressure gas can be injected near the object's nose to extend the bubble. Reverse-engineered supercavitation. The Soviets started experimenting with supercavitating torpedoes in the 1960s. Russia's current flagship model is the VA-111 Shkval, which has been in service since 1977. The VA-111 is launched from a 533 mm torpedo tube and relies on a solid fuel rocket to achieve cavitation speeds. A combined cycle gas turbine in the nose creates the gas bubble. Once the VA-111 has achieved the requisite speed, an underwater ramjet, fueled by hydroreactive metals that use seawater, helps keep the torpedo humming at speeds of 230 miles per hour. Some reports suggest the VA-111 is even capable of reaching 290 miles per hour, and that the Russians may be working to develop a model capable of exceeding 350 miles per hour. The VA-111 uses 4 fins to change direction.
That's pretty fast. Anyways, just a little more to read on it. Let's get one paragraph just to jump down to this one. And that's all I got for you for today. Remember, I'm Alan for today's news. I will be reading, speaking about world news, interesting news, news to keep you entertained, and news to keep you informed. I hope I got some information for you. And don't forget to like, subscribe, at least come back once in a while. And until next time, later.